So, potentially ominous article here on the F1Chronicle.com, because apparently Sir Lewis Hamilton is facing a big problem at Ferrari, according to Schumacher. I'm going to guess that is Ralf Schumacher. I would be shocked if it was Mick or Michael saying that in the media. If it is Michael, that would be an even huger shock. And that would not be the headline. That would be Michael Schumacher speaks out for the first time since his accident. Keep fighting, Michael. You got this, man. I really hope you come back one day into the public eye. But yeah, let's focus on Hamilton here. Let's have a look at what Ralf Schumacher has said. Full article on the F1Chronicle.com as always. Lewis Hamilton could soon be facing a big problem in his F1 career, according to former Grand Prix winner Ralf Schumacher. Schumacher admits both the 7-time world champion at Ferrari and Ferrari are two legendary names, noting that the Italian marquee share price soared when their collaboration for 2025 onwards was announced. But the deal also carries a big risk if it doesn't work out, the German told Sport 1. In my opinion, it would be a big problem if Lewis doesn't have a similar driving style to his new teammate Charles Leclerc, he added. We've seen what it means at Mercedes when George Russell was faster. Schumacher, who's a 6-time F1 race winner, thinks that Hamilton's advancing age is part of the problem. A young driver has more capacity and understands better how to adapt the car, said the 49-year-old, and a younger driver can work better with an engineer. I mean, I don't know about the working with the engineer thing. I mean, you think that Hamilton would work very well with his engineer because he's been at, he's at Mercedes for 12 years. Also, the cars are heavier and slower to drive than when he was successful. There is less mechanical grip. This means that you have to change your driving style, especially in the braking zones, and that is exactly where Lewis lost time to Russell. Schumacher thinks that Hamilton might fare reasonably alongside Leclerc in the races where experience counts, but I fear he will lose a few attempts in qualifying again. I don't disagree, and especially because Leclerc is so good in qualifying as well. Like, he's arguably the fastest one-lap driver in Formula 1 right now. I also think that Leclerc is better when it comes to car setup. He is also particularly good in terms of tyre management. Both Hamilton and Schumacher's brother each have 7 titles, but Ralf thinks that Michael was better than Hamilton in several areas. The biggest difference among many is that Michael was able to work with the engineers and develop a car that was perfect for his driving style. Lewis has never been able to do that. If you listen carefully to what the Mercedes engineers say, said Schumacher, that makes things even more difficult for Lewis because Leclerc is the top dog. For Lewis, everything at Ferrari is new. Michael also came to Ferrari as the current world champion and was much younger. Neither of these things is the case for Lewis. Hamilton made headlines in Qatar recently when he admitted he is no longer as fast as he once was. I think that came from the heart and was genuine, said Ralf. I admire his honesty. Schumacher thinks it's even a possibility that Hamilton will quit Formula 1 before the initial 2-year fixed term of his new contract. The danger is there if everything goes badly. I think that if Lewis realises that he's no longer living up to his own expectations, he will say so, and the Italian press will not have patience for someone for more than 6 months if things aren't going well. He's not used to that kind of pressure from the outside. I don't know, I mean, the British press are pretty harsh, to say the least. They've not been harsh on Hamilton for a long time, but the right-wing press in particular in the UK in his early career did not like him, so he is used to a lot of pressure, trust me. Even in Michael's time, they wanted to fire Jean Todt when success was taking too long. Michael prevented that, but I doubt that will happen with Lewis. Maybe he'll be lucky and the car will suit him, but I have my doubts. I mean, it's a school of thought. It's a school of thought for sure. I don't necessarily agree with it personally. There are some people out there that do think that Hamilton, he's washed, he's not good enough anymore. And I respectfully disagree with that. I think he is, and he's shown that. He showed that in his last race. He showed that in Abu Dhabi, his final race for Mercedes. He beat George Russell despite starting all the way at the back of the grid. Yeah, qualifying's important. I think it'll be less important in 2026 because, you've got the new regulations. It'll be easier to pass, or at least it will be in theory anyway. So the advantage of qualifying well will be less from then. So that's something. I do think Leclerc will probably be faster over 1 lap for the majority of it. I feel like Hamilton may have lost a tenth or two of pace in qualifying, but in the race, I don't think he's lost any pace, to be honest. Maybe he's more inconsistent. Maybe the Mercedes was more inconsistent. I've said many times that I feel like George Russell did better than Hamilton this season, partly because the car is now designed around George Russell. And I don't know if I agree with Schumacher when he says that he's never, Hamilton's never created a car that's to his driving style, to his liking. I don't know. I mean, I feel like the Mercedes, after Nico Rosberg left in 2016, that car for Mercedes from 2017, all the way till arguably 2021, 2022, I'd say it was suited to Hamilton's driving style. It certainly was suited to Hamilton's driving style better than Bottas. And if it's not suited to Hamilton's driving style, then who is it suited for? Why would Mercedes create a car, particularly when Hamilton was winning championships, that was not suited to his driving style? It doesn't really add up for me. I understand where Schumacher's coming from with a lot of this stuff, but I'm not sure I agree with it. I'm not sure I agree with it. And, you know, of course he's going to say that Michael's better. I mean, that is a very subjective opinion. I'm not going to get into that debate. I'm going to have a debate like that pretty soon with my good friend Ed. We're going to do a video going over who is the greatest of all time. Hamilton and Michael Schumacher will both feature in that. They will be two of the GOAT contenders, as it were, in that. So I think that I have to say with Hamilton, we really will. That car, for the most part, I believe, will be suited to Charles Leclerc. However, we're already getting rumblings. If you saw the video that I put out last week, I think it might have been a short, going over the rumour that Brembo were going to leave Ferrari as brake suppliers, which isn't going to happen. But apparently, one of the things they've done is that they've moved the driving position of this car that's coming up for 2025, which suits Hamilton. It's to suit Hamilton. Presumably before that, it was something that suited Leclerc. So I think that's a little thing that would be an advantage to Hamilton potentially, although I believe they're similar height. I've met both of them, but not in the same room, I don't think. I think they're around the same kind of height. They're both around 5'8", something like that. They're Formula 1 drivers are not the tallest for the most part. So yeah, that's just my kind of take on it. Well, I know it sounds like a cop-out because it kind of is, because we're going into a complete unknown. This is the first time that Hamilton won't have a Mercedes engine in the back of his car. It's the first time he won't be driving for the Mercedes Works team since 2012. It's a long time. Hamilton was 28 when he joined Mercedes. He's going to be 40 when he joins Ferrari, when he starts his first race for Ferrari anyway, because his birthday's in January. So yeah, I'll have to see what happens. I'm optimistic for him, but it's going to be tough for both Leclerc and Hamilton. Hamilton's coming in as a 7-time world champion with all the pressure in the world to get an 8th. Leclerc, of course, is going to be expected to be a world champion for the first time, and he's going up against the most successful driver in the history of the sport. There is massive, massive pressure and expectation on both Leclerc and Hamilton for different reasons. And whoever comes out on top in that battle is going to, you know, they're going to be very happy and very proud. Whoever comes out as the loser is going to be distraught. For what it's worth, I think they're going to be quite similar. Overall through the season, there's going to be races where Leclerc does really well, races where Hamilton does really well, but I think over the course of a season, there's not going to be much between them. I don't think there will be personally, but we'll see. We'll see. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, guys. Is Hamilton washed? Is he going to perform at Ferrari? Will he quit early? I'll have to see about that one. That's a bold claim by Mr. Schumacher for sure. And for much more F1 news and opinions, do keep it tuned here to the F1Chronicle.com. Like, share, comment, subscribe, ring the bell as well. And we'll see you soon, guys. Have a good one.